What's going on? So today we're going to be talking about 9 key elements that are so important to maximize fat loss for man. Because if you're struggling to lose this stubborn body fat around your midsection and you just can't seem to figure it out, if you're not doing these specific things, you're going to have problems losing that body fat. And don't forget to stay to the end because I'll be giving you a specific lab value that you can do yourself to know if you're going in the right direction. What's going on? My name is Andy J. I'm here to support millennial men to feel our best. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Again, today we're going to be looking at some key factors to maximize your success losing body fat. But before we jump in, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment because leaving comments is so important. I'd love to hear what you've done, what has been successful in your own fat loss journey, because these things can be so important to share with the community. Also, if there's something that you've been struggling with or something you've done that just didn't work, that's also so important. So don't forget to leave a comment, and possibly I can make videos on those specific topics as well to support you in your fat loss journey. Now, to get into the topics, we're going to be talking about 9 specific categories to look at to maximize your fat loss success. So the first one's going to be the science of fat loss. So what I mean by this is there's a couple of key things. One is always making sure you're in a calorie deficit. Track that with Cronometer or MyFitnessPal or some kind of calorie tracking app is so important for you to be successful. By using these apps, you can generally calculate what your resting or basal metabolic rate is. And then from there, you want to generally put yourself in a 300 to 500 calorie deficit below that and work at that level. And then naturally, because you are in a deficit, the weight should begin to drop off. And the other important thing is from a diet standpoint, very high level here, but making sure you're getting enough protein, you're getting enough healthy fats, generally from saturated fats, and also that you're getting enough carbohydrates from good sources. So refined carbohydrates, although are not the most ideal source. So basically trying to go for what is considered more of a balanced, optimal diet. And I can get into that in more videos, but these are just reminders to not be necessarily removing entire macronutrient groups for your success. So the second topic is going to be key factors to know to maximize fat loss success. So what I mean by that is the first one is understanding hormone balance, specifically as a man, understanding ideal levels for testosterone and ideal levels for thyroid health. Making sure that those are in at least the reference ranges is so important to make sure you're going in the right direction. Again, I've made other videos specifically dedicated to thyroid hormone, to testosterone, so check out those videos. But if you want to just get into it now, just use those reference ranges to at least make sure you're going in the right direction. Muscle preservation is also very important under this topic. So making sure you're eating enough protein, you're going to the gym and practicing resistance training often enough to preserve muscle tissue, if not build more muscle tissue, because muscle tissue is actually metabolically demanding, meaning it will naturally help you burn more calories at rest. And another key factor into this topic that is important is understanding that you can't specifically target body fat or like belly fat, for example, in exercise to be able to lose that. What you need to remember is you need to keep and maintain a calorie deficit for a decent duration of time, and then slowly aiming for maybe 1 to 2 pounds loss per week. And if that's not happening, then you have to then start looking at these other factors that we're talking about here. Again, this segues into the third topic, which is the topic about exercise. So I really emphasize the importance of strength training and why that's so important for your success. Like I mentioned in the last topic, where if you're able to build more muscle tissue, that's going to naturally be more metabolically demanding on your body. So therefore, you're going to be able to burn more calories at rest. So it's so important, particularly as we age, we lose muscle very quickly. So we really want to make sure we're not only maintaining, but building tissue, because we need to hold on to as much as possible. Cardio also is a helpful tool for fat loss, but what I always say is you don't want to use cardio as a way to simply increase the amount of calories you're burning. You want to look at cardio as more of like a synergizer for your overall health. You don't have to do any aggressive cardio. I actually am a big fan of walking, getting at least 10,000 steps in per day. You can do that on the treadmill. You can do that around the block or between your lunch breaks or something, but getting enough of those steps in usually will check the box for your cardio and help a lot for your overall metabolic rate. And with that being said, just being mindful of what's basically called non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So what this is anything that's non-exercise related that can increase your metabolism and essentially burn a few more calories here and there. So that can be things like walking, just being on your feet a little bit more, standing if possible, moving around a little bit more, finding ways to just increase the amount of calories you're burning in more sedentary situations. The fourth topic is about diet and nutrition. So this is very high level here, but some of the most important things are just focusing on the macronutrients, the proteins, the fats, the carbohydrates. So starting with proteins, making sure you're getting about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So for example, if you weigh 160 pounds on the upper end, which I think is actually a safer bet, that's shooting for 160 grams of protein per day. Again, using Cronometer or MyFitnessPal, those are great tools to see if you actually are hitting your protein goal. In my experience, most people are actually under consuming protein, even if they think they are consuming more protein. So if you're talking to yourself right now thinking that you're actually getting enough protein, I challenge you to actually measure that and see if you actually are. Because in my experience and what I've seen with my clients, most people are not getting enough protein unless they go out of their way to supplement with it with collagen protein, for example, to make sure they're getting enough protein. On carbohydrates, using good quality carbohydrates like carbohydrates from rice and potatoes and things of that nature can be really useful. Obviously, if you're not diabetic and you're not sensitive, your blood sugar is not hypersensitive. If you're a relatively healthy person, you can leverage carbohydrates in a good way to give you energy. I'm a big fan of using more carbohydrates or front loading my carbohydrates before a strong workout, and that's going to give me a little bit more energy for my workout. The rest of the day, I tend to eat a little bit lower carb because I don't need that additional energy because I'm no longer working out. So kind of strategizing and using carbohydrates in a smart way can be a good way. Carbohydrates are not bad. Sugar is not even bad if you're using it in a correct timing, but it's important that you understand that and you understand how it works in the body, and then you can leverage that to your benefit and actually help you in your weight loss journey. And the final piece is with fats. I'm a big fan of leaning more towards monounsaturated fats, which are coming from olive oil or avocado oil, and more saturated fats coming from animal proteins or coconut oil. Those tend to be a lot healthier than the polyunsaturated fats, which tend to be more unstable. I've made so many other videos on this as far as my thoughts on polyunsaturated fats, all of them, including ones that come from fish oil, because we do get some amount of PUFA through our diet. It's unavoidable. I always think it's good to just try to minimize that and focus on these other types of fats for optimal health. The fifth topic is about metabolism and the connection with vitamins and minerals. These are sort of the foundation to everything that we're doing, to making sure you're getting enough vitamins, you're getting enough minerals, because they fuel all the metabolic processes in our body to be successful and be healthy in what we're trying to do here. So as we age, obviously what you've noticed is your metabolism begins to slow down. And this is why maybe in the past you didn't have any issues with weight gain, and now you are, because your metabolism has been slowing down. But that can be corrected when you understand the biochemistry of using vitamins and minerals as a way to increase the energy output for your metabolism. Basically, to make energy in the body, you need vitamins and minerals. It's a natural process. And so if we're eating a diet devoid of these, and most people are, and it's not our fault, it's our food system and so many other complications and stress and things that tend to lower our amount of nutrition we have in our body, we need to replenish these and be mindful of that. Some key nutrients that I always like to point out, the most important one, if I had to rank them, would be magnesium. That one is virtually impossible just to get from diet, so you should always be supplementing from magnesium. Magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate are two really good options. In my description, I link the brand that I like best and I recommend to my clients. Supplementing with enough vitamin D is really, really important, and just making sure you're getting enough of that, as well as making sure you're getting enough of the trace minerals. Using a trace mineral drop in your water can be so important and so impactful at dialing in your hormones and increasing your metabolism. The sixth topic that I think is very important is understanding lab work and how you can track your progress. And that's a big core piece to the way I coach my clients is making sure that you're doing smart lab work to be able to measure that you're going in the right direction. And for men in particularly, really measuring like there's not a whole lot of lab values you need to track if you want to be very simple. For men, we can be really just looking at our testosterone levels and our thyroid as a baseline to know if we're trending in the right direction. And then if we want to go even deeper, there's a lot of other values that we can look at. And that's typically what I'll do with my clients, looking at more minerals and vitamins and how that reacts and directly correlates to the changes in our hormones. As the seventh topic, I want to address some common myths. I touched on these a little bit in some of the other topics. One of them is the spot reduction myth. So again, you cannot exercise a certain area and think you're going to lose body fat in that area. So you're not going to be able to do a bunch of crunches and lose body fat there. If anyone on social media says that, you should unsubscribe from them because they are completely full of shit and they're not talking about anything that's based in reality. The second one is crash diets. So doing extreme diets that can actually slow your metabolism down. Ketogenic diets, carnivore diet, if done in an improper way, these are prime examples of ones that slow down metabolism. The vegan diet is very similar. Any just extreme type of diet that's removing certain types of foods or macronutrients out of them over time tend to slow down our metabolism and actually can cause weight gain problems. This is often what people find when they get off of these diets is all the results they get sort of come crashing back because what's been really happening is they've been operating in this hyper stressed state for the duration of their diet. Now, some of these can be used in a therapeutic way where you do it for short periods of time. That's for another video. But the simplest way is you just want to keep your diet balanced and just make sure you're maintaining a calorie deficit. For number 8, it's some key points for sustainable weight loss to take place and to do it in a healthy way. The first one that's so important is sleep, making sure you're getting at least around 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. So making sure when you wake up, you're not feeling groggy, you're not feeling overly sleepy. That's a really key factor to consider. Looking at other things, if you are developing apnea, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're snoring at night, these can all be indications that the quality of your sleep is being somehow jeopardized and you're not being able to get as much rest as you need. The other factor is stress management. Minimizing the stress hormone cortisol is very, very important if you want to maintain a good, healthy body composition. So practicing good habits, the sleep component, we just talked about some sort of time to rest and recover, meditation, walking, doing some kind of creative outlet to calm the mind and body. It doesn't really matter as long as you're giving yourself some time to lower that stress hormone to let your body get back into balance. And that's going to really pay dividends in helping you lose body fat. The ninth one is about tips for your long-term success. And they're going to be things like setting realistic goals. So setting short-term goals that are achievable so you stay motivated, not big, lofty goals. So if you're wanting to lose, like, for example, 50 pounds, set a goal to lose 10 pounds. And then after you reach that goal, then set another goal to lose 10 pounds. So you stay motivated and you stay focused to hit those milestones. The other important thing is tracking progress. So you don't know if you're succeeding unless you measure it. And so we talked about the lab work piece, getting a basic scale even. I like the ones that will measure body fat percentage. And even though they're not super accurate, it'll at least give you a baseline and measure that every single day to know and see if you're trending in the right direction. Using a calorie tracking app like Cronometer or MyFitnessPal, using these tools together, you're going to be able to know if you're going in the right direction, if you need to make changes, so you don't lose months of potential progress because you weren't paying attention. So I hope you found that useful. Thanks for staying to the end. As a reward to you, I told you about a specific lab value that's so important to be able to track your progress. Probably if I had to say what is the most important lab value to track over time, it's your TSH or your thyroid stimulating hormone. This is important for both men and women. And if you have an elevated number, you're actually slowing your metabolism. So The key is to make sure that number is going down over time. The lab test is very inexpensive, anywhere from $30 to $50 to do it. There's a lot of websites online where a doctor can order the lab for you, depending on the state you live in, and then you can order that lab yourself without actually having to go to a doctor or a clinic or anything. So I do put a link in my bio for the lab test that I recommend for that, so you can do that right through my link. But that's a really good way to do that periodically every month or two to make sure you're trending in the right direction and you're maintaining a healthy metabolism. So that's it for now. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Your support means so much to me. Also, leave a comment, leave any thoughts that came to mind from this discussion, what you've been successful in, what you've been struggling with. Anything that you leave in the comments is very useful and can help give me more ideas for more topics in the future. About this time, there should be some other videos popping up that are related to this video. Please check them out. And again, I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon.